video we are going to see political in executives. Who is political executives? We know executives means what it is. Okay, we can see that one in the second paragraph. At a different level of any government, we find functionaries who take day-to-day decisions but not exercise supreme power on behalf of the people. All those functionaries are collectively known as the executives. They are called executives because they are in charge of the execution of the policies of the government. Why we are calling them executives? Because they are executing or implementing the policies of the government. So we can see two types of executives. One is the political and another one is permanent executive. In first paragraph we can see the first one, that is the political executives, that is the third sentence. One that is elected by the people for a specific period is called political executive. It may be for 5 years. In Indian situation it is for 5 years. Some countries it is for 4 years. Some countries it is for 10 years. That elected persons are known as the political executives. Political leaders who takes the big decision fall in this category. And in the second category, people are appointed as on a long term basis, like IAS officer, IPS officer, like that persons are known as the what we are calling them, we will call it permanent executives. They are this is called permanent executives or civil services. Persons working in the civil service are called civil servants. What we will call them? Civil servants. They remain in office even when the ruling party changes. If the BJP is ruling or Congress is ruling, DMK is ruling, AIDMK ruling, that's not the matter. The civil servants or the permanent executives, they will remain in the office. These officers work under the political executives and assist them in carrying out the day-to-day administration. So we understood like the two types of executives, political and permanent executives. Then come to next paragraph, that is, and in the middle of the paragraph, the civil servants is usually more educated and have more expert. We can see that when the civil servants, they are more educated as well as expert more expert knowledge of the subject. The advisors working in the finance ministry know more about the economics than the finance minister. Sometimes the ministers may know very little about the technical matters that comes under the ministry, because they are getting 1 or 2 chance to become minister, so they are not experienced in all the field, especially about defense or health or their industry, science, like that, any area if you are taking the same condition. Then come to next paragraph. The reason is very simple. In democracy, the will of the people is supreme. The minister is an elected representative of the people and thus empowered to exercise the will of the people on their behalf. So she is finally answerable to the people for all the consequences of her decision. What the decision taken by any minister or MP or MLA, they want to give answer to the people. That's why the ministers takes all the final decision, not the permanent executives. The political executives, they are taking the final decisions. The minister decide the overall framework and objectives. In this decision on policy should be made. Minister is not and is not expected to be an expert in the matter of her ministry. The minister take the advice of the expert on all technical matters, but very often experts hold different opinions or place before her more than one option. Depending on what the overall objective is, the minister decide. So the experts, they will give many options in front of the minister, then minister want to decide. Actually this happen in a large organization. Those who understand the overall picture takes the most important decision, not the expert. The expert can tell the route, but someone with a large view decide the destination. Then comes the Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers. Prime Minister is the most important political institution in the country. Yet there is no direct election to the post of the Prime Minister. The president appoints the prime minister. Which party is getting the maximum vote? From that, one person is usually becoming the prime minister. So, who is appointing prime minister? President is appointing, but he is the elected person as a MP in the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. But the president cannot appoint anyone she likes. President, even though president appointed, but president cannot appoint in his own likes. The president appoints the leader of the majority party or the coalition of the parties that commands a majority in the Lok Sabha. Please underline to whom the president make as a prime minister. In case no single party or alliance get a majority, the president appoints a person most likely to secure the majority support. The prime minister does not have fixed tenure. He continues in power so long as he remains the leader of the majority party or coalition. If the people's minister saying or the parliament deciding they want to change, they can change the prime minister. After the appointment of the prime minister, the president appoints other ministers on the advice of the prime minister. Only prime minister deciding by the president, then rest of the ministers appointing by the president with the help of prime minister, advice of prime minister. The ministers are usually from the party or the coalition that has majority in Lok Sabha. The prime minister is free to choose ministers as long as they are members of parliament. Sometimes a person who is not the member of parliament can also become minister. Please take care and underline that one. Person who is not a member of parliament can also become a minister. But there is one condition for that. But such a person has to get elected to one of the houses of parliament within 6 months of the appointment as a minister. If the one person out of MP who is becoming the minister, then he want to prove that he also elected by the people in any one of the Sabha. It may be Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha. Usually it is coming in Lok Sabha. Then we are having the total 60 to 80 ministers in the country. And first group cabinet ministers are usually top level leaders of the ruling party or parties who are in charge of the major ministries. Usually cabinet ministers meet to take decision in the name of the council of ministers. Cabinet is usually thus the inner ring of the council of ministers. It comprises about 25 ministers. Usually cabinet ministers, it is coming 25 members. Then ministers of state with the independent charge are usually in charge of small ministries. They participate in cabinet meeting only when specially invited. Then ministers of state are attached and required to assist the cabinet ministers. Then, since it is not practical for all ministers to meet regularly and discussing everything, the decisions are taken in cabinet meeting. That is why parliamentary democracy in most countries is often known as the cabinet form of government. Why the cabinet ministers, they are coming together and they are deciding. The cabinet work as a team. The ministers may have different views and opinions, but everyone has to own up to every decision of the cabinet. Then next, no minister can openly criticize any decision of the government, even if it is about another ministry or department. For example, education ministry is taken one decision. Industrial ministry should not criticize the educational minister. Every minister has secretaries who are civil servants. We know chief secretaries of each department. Then the secretaries provides the necessary background information to the ministers to take the decision. We know that one, they are expert and they are more highly educated people, so they can help the ministers. The cabinet as a team is assisted by the cabinet secretariat, and this includes many senior civil servants who try to coordinate the work of the different ministries. Then comes the power of the prime minister. The constitution does not say very much about the power of the prime minister or the ministers or their relationship each other. But the head of the government, the prime minister, has a wide ranging powers. Who is the head of the government? That is the prime minister. He chairs cabinet meeting. He coordinates the work of the different departments. He decisions are final in case of disagreement arise between departments. Please underline one by one point. First point, he chairs the cabinet meeting. Second point, he coordinates the work of different departments. Then decisions are final in case of disagreement arises between different departments. Then he exercises general supervision of different ministries. Then fifth one, all ministries work under his leadership. Sixth one, the prime minister distributes and redistributes the work of the ministers. Then next one, he also has the power to dismiss ministers. Then when the prime minister quits, the entire ministry quits. Then next one, if the cabinet is the most powerful institution in India, within the cabinet it is prime minister. Of the prime minister in all parliamentary democracies of the world has increased so much in the recent decades that parliamentary democracy are sometimes seen as the prime ministerial form of government, because they are even though there is president, but prime minister is taking the maximum decision and they are controlling the country, so we are calling it prime ministerial form of government. As political parties have come to play a major role in politics, the prime minister controls the cabinet and parliament through the party. The media also contributes to this trend by making politics and elections as a competition between top leaders of the parties. In India too, we have seen such a tendency towards the concentration of power in the hands of the Prime Minister. Jawaharlal Nehru, the first Prime Minister of India, exercised enormous authority because he had great influence over the public. Then Indira Gandhi was also a very powerful leader compared to her colleagues in the cabinet. Of course, the extent of the power wielded by the Prime Minister also depend on the personality of the person holding that position. However, in recent years, the rise of the coalition parties has imposed certain constraints on the power of the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister of the coalition government cannot take decision all as he likes. He has to accommodate different groups and functions in his party as well as among alliance partners. He also has to heed to the views and the positions of the coalition partners and other parties on whose support and the survival of the government depends. Okay, we will continue in next video.